Hello.
We're live.
I don't even know if I've ever been live on here. Maybe like several years ago. Hello. Welcome. We're very excited and very nervous to be chatting. We have had so many messages. I haven't had this many messages in years, you guys, and I've been trying to get back to everyone. But we're going to do a Q&A and we're going to answer and share our experience. Again, this is not medical advice. This is not anything, but this is us sharing our experience and the knowledge that we've learned in this process. So I collected all of your guys' questions. So we're going to go over just everything. And we'll answer as much as we can. Hi guys. Oh my gosh, there's so many people in here. Hi. Okay. So first of all, why did we decide to do this? Did we have symptoms? So I think this part is really important because I have done 3 parasite cleanses before and he's done 2. My last test result did not show any parasites. And as far as my knowledge went, I had no symptoms. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I have a parasite. I had no symptoms. So going into this, I wasn't like, I need to go do a parasite cleanse, but I did feel very called to do it. And the crazy thing is, if you guys have been around here, I got an MRI 2 weeks ago. I already had this planned a month prior. So I got my MRI back and they had accidental discoveries, which were that my gallbladder was full of gallstones. And they told me basically what I was told is that I would need surgery. And the cool thing is I'm doing a parasite cleanse next week. So watch me heal this naturally. And guess what, you guys? Thousands and thousands of gallstones came out in the process. So that's really cool. And I'm excited to get an ultrasound and show them that it is possible to heal our bodies naturally without surgery. So, okay, there's that. I'm talking really fast. Okay.
Yeah, I decided to do it because of the results she was seeing. So I wasn't on the schedule, and then Erin had someone drop out last minute. And so then that's how I was able to get on the schedule and do a 5-day. So, wasn't really comfortable putting anything up my butt. And so I wasn't like super excited about it. And then, here we are. But
and
it was
amazing.
Amazing.
How was it? It's not.
We'll get there. I was just saying why I did it.
Well, the reason why you haven't done enemas is because it was kind of scary, yeah?
Yeah, very uncomfortable about that.
It's just the unknown, which I get because I was scared to do it too.
Sorry, Lauren.
Okay, so what did the protocol look like? What comes in the kit? The diet. Okay, so first of all, you guys, this is a very advanced kit. A cleanse. This went very, very deep, and the diet and the herbs and the tinctures and all the stuff is created to support your body during this process to give you the right aminos. It is literally created for like this whole process to support your body. So I ate fruit. So I fasted in the morning. I ate fruit for lunch and dinner and very, very small amounts. I wasn't eating like enough to have enough calories like I normally do. But surprisingly enough, I felt really good as far as food went. The hardest thing for me was the water consumption. That was the hardest thing for me. And only because I don't ever drink plain water. I always have my happy juice or my electrolytes. So I just didn't ever feel satisfied. But that was the hardest part for me. I felt really good outside of that, just low energy. And I'll let you share how you felt.
Yeah. So protocol, you touched on some of the things, but there's some different tinctures. There's a liver detox tea. There's a binder. So there's a few things that we would take every day and a green powder. That's not why the parasites were green, FYI. So I'm just throwing that out there. And then, honestly, felt good. So my protocol, I tried to fast the full 5 days. So more water fast. I did on day 2 have an apple. And then I'd probably have anywhere between 4 to 8 ounces of some kind of juice per day. There was a couple days where I didn't have any juice either. So yeah, it was very, very water fast, and it made me just feel amazing. So.
Yeah, he literally was working the whole time. It was he was up cleaning and doing all the things. I was how are you surviving? But the crazy thing is, you guys, I think when we get past that barrier, Erin taught me, our food signals oh, it's lunchtime because that's what we're used to. And when you tell your body, like, I'm fine, I'm nourished, I'm hydrated, things start shifting. And then you're like, whoa, I actually have energy just eating fruit and drinking water. So it was really cool, mentally, physically, like all the things. Okay, the next question was how we felt during the cleanse and after. I think we kind of answered how we felt during the cleanse. I was very low energy. He definitely had more energy than me fasting, and I had fruit. I was low energy. I did do 75 hard up until day 7. Don't recommend that, but I really wanted to push through, but I don't recommend that.
That's great.
After, okay, the best way I know how to explain it is my body feels very clean and pure. The last time I remember feeling like this is in my early 20s. Like, I feel alive inside. I feel very energetic. I told someone else in the DMs, it's kind of like, you know, when you have women, you know, when you have a baby and there's just like an empty space in your belly. Obviously this is way lower scale, but that's what I feel. I'm like, it feels like I can feel that I release stuff, and it's wild. And there's never been a time in however long I can remember that I've eaten a meal, even if it's super clean, super healthy, organic, that I haven't gotten some sort of bloat. And he can attest to this. It's been our whole marriage. Like, I eat anything and I would get so frustrated because I'm like, I'm eating clean and healthy. Like, why am I still bloating? I'm not getting any bloating, which is exciting. It's only been a day, obviously, a day and a half. We started eating last night, but that's been huge. So I already know that the removal of the parasites is helping with whatever. Like, they could be taking, they could have been taking like my nutrition before, and a lot of the toxins and the waste that the parasites give off can do a lot of damage too. So, okay.
Wait, me.
You.
Take some deep breaths.
Go.
I felt incredible during, like I just mentioned. Since getting food in my body, I actually feel like a lot more bloated. I think my body's just like responding. I think honestly putting my body, I'm not a doctor. We should probably say that right now. We're not doctors.
I said that in the beginning.
Oh, you did? All right. Yeah. Physicians, all that fun stuff.
We're just sharing our experience.
So yeah, I think since eating and kind of going through like almost like a starvation mode, right? Because it was 5 days without food. I think my body is like kind of storing or maybe just adjusting to having food in it. I have had a few bowel movements, so there's like no issues there, I guess, on that end. But yeah, so I don't feel like mentally as clear as I did while fasting. So to me, I kind of want to like incorporate fasting more into, and we'll get more into like our future things, but that clarity and just like that brain clarity was pretty amazing. So.
Yeah, I second that. Okay, our plan going forward. Actually, should we do that towards the end? I think we need to answer these questions first because that kind of ties it in.
Yeah. Okay,
so what is the average cost? So like I said before, we have done the Cellcore Parasite Cleanse. It's a 3, 5, or 7 day cleanse. It's very easy and it's very low key. You don't have to change your diet besides obviously processed foods and stuff like that. That's a great place to start. The cost that we did, so Erin, who I tagged in all of my reels, she sells the kit, which is what we used, for $333. She does not have a website right now. She is going to get that up, but her kit is the most powerful that I've used. I did Cellcore 3 times. It was great. I did get parasites out. I do think it's a great like beginner place.
Yeah.
And Erin's was also incredible. Like, we went deep. You guys saw, we went deep, which was really cool. So
the Cellcore? Cellcore.
Yeah.
That one's good. I would see like some parasites here or there, like you call them flukes. Except for on like the last day of the last one, I don't know. I mean, this is gross, whatever. When I was wiping my butt, I pulled out a tapeworm.
You're gonna freak everyone out.
And so like that was like that. I mean, yeah, that grossed me out probably as much as it's grossing you out. So there were some good like parasites that came from that, and I think it was just a good like introduction as well. So I think you can either start basic, or you can go like, have Erin ship you one of her kits and kind of do it at home, or you can do like the full experience and book with her and come to St. George and kind of go through that experience. So
okay, how do I get the most out of a parasite cleanse? This is like the one topic that I wanted to talk about the most because I think this is really important. just jumping into a parasite cleanse can be a little iffy, I guess you could say. So one very important thing is making sure that you have open detox pathways. So that can be done with like dry brushing, sauna, coffee enemas, or just enemas. But you want to make sure that that's moving so that when you're killing the parasites, they can start leaving your body. You don't want them to die and stay in your body. So if you're planning on doing that, I would just start doing those simple things now. Dry brushing. There's also things out there like herbs, and Cellcore has a thing that you can do that starts helping you open your detox pathways as well. And then enemas and colonics. So I will say we have done the Cellcore with me personally without doing colonics or enemas, and I didn't have a ton of success. But when I pair it personally with enemas, I get out so much more. So in my head, it makes sense because you're killing them with the cleanse, right? And then the enema or the colonic is going in and like flushing and getting them out. So that's another thing that I'm going to recommend forever is pairing it with an enema or a colonic so that you can be moving what you're killing out of your body. And then the third thing, which is also important, and we can kind of speak to it and our experience, is to be ready to feel your emotions, which is not my favorite. But this week, so when parasites die off, you guys, they hold energy, they hold stories, they hold trauma. So as we went through this process this week, I'll let him share his experience, but we had a lot of that come up. We had a lot of emotions. I had a lot of crying. I had a lot of screaming. Which is so uncomfortable for me. There was times when I would yell in my car and I would scream, and you guys, it was so healing because, you know, in this world, we're taught to shove our emotions down. When we're feeling a certain way, we're taught to shove it down. So when this stuff comes up and it's released, you're going to have things come up in your head, you're going to have emotions come up, and you need to be ready to feel those things and to process them so they can leave your body. It's so healthy. It's so healthy to do that. So I'll let you kind of share your experience with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of like the releases. I mean, this is obviously my theory on it, but I've had a lot of body issues and just like food addictions throughout the years. You know, I mean, pretty much since like junior high, right? And like my whole life. So there was a ton of releasing that came with that. And just, I think that's why I was feeling so good throughout it, because I was releasing so much of that attachment and so much of that, I don't know, shame, guilt, you know, I think all those emotions that have been stored. So, I mean, my theory is I think the way we feel about our body and about ourselves kind of like compounds and feeds energetically the parasites. Like I said, obviously there's like no science.
No, there actually is. I shared some of the science in my parasite stories. If you guys want to like go and dive in to read that, it actually is science. Like everything's energy, and our body, our organs, parasites, they all hold on to those things. Next. Okay, how to deal with parasite cycles. So if anyone's not familiar with this, parasites lay eggs. You guys probably saw some of those. Well, it's hard to see in my videos that I shared, but there was hundreds of eggs. Like if you break them open, you can see hundreds of eggs in the houses, in the parasite houses. So generally that is why a lot of countries deworm twice per year, is because there are cycles. So even if you kill some off, there's still going to be eggs that could hatch. So that's why it's just a good general thumb, like rule, to do a parasite cleanse once or twice a year. So what my plan is we've done the big one. This is like the advanced one. I do want to do this again. But at some point moving forward, we're just going to do the easy, 5-day ones where we don't have to change or do a whole lot, but just to like maintain and keep those died off.
Yeah, I think that for the next one we do, we're gonna like switch. So she's gonna do a 5-day, and I'll probably go the full 10-day.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually trying to get on the schedule to do like a full 10-day again, and I'm gonna do my best to try to like fast the whole time. So we'll see.
Okay, will our kids ever do a parasite cleanse? Absolutely. So there's a website that I was recommended by so many of you called Rogers Hood. It's also in my bio. It's a 30-day parasite cleanse. It is super, super easy. It's very gentle. There could be a little bit of die-off symptoms from what I read in the reviews and the stories, but it's very gentle. So this is made for 2 years and older, up to our age. Like anybody can use it. It's very gentle. So it's like a 30-day supply. So we got one for Char, one for Dash. And as soon as it gets here, we're going to start them on that. And then moving forward, we're going to do it at least once or twice per year, because if we can be proactive with it, they're not going to have to do this stuff when they're our age, and they're not going to be having to get out 15, 20-year-old parasites that are, what's the word?
Calcified.
No.
Petrified.
Petrified. Yeah. Okay, so that's in my bio. The link is in there, but it's called Rogers Hood.
We haven't done that yet with the kids.
Right.
So
we do use the TRS spray, which is like heavy metals, which parasites can attach to. So we have done that.
Yeah, it's probably the other way around. It feels like most of the metals attached to like the parasite nest.
Yeah, she said both. They like feed off of heavy metals.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let's answer this one real quick. So I had a couple people ask if Sandra could share his perspective on how to get husbands on board with healing. So I'll let him share that.
Oh, I mean, if you just look at my experience, it was just based on Jalen doing the work, right? And so I think just seeing like what's been coming out of her body, and her and I have been, more or less on similar diets or whatever you want to call it, our entire marriage. I just assumed there was, probably some stuff in me too. So it felt, I think I decided on like a Saturday and then started that Monday. So it was like a pretty quick turnaround for me. So I don't know. I think like us men can be very insecure about these things. And so I think like forcing or pushing things can, I think kind of push in the opposite direction, right? And so I think just like leading by example is honestly probably like the best thing. And then just sharing with your husband, like, is probably, is honestly the best thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say too. I mean, in our marriage, when something amazing's happened to me, if I push it on him, I'm like, you should do this. He usually is like, get away from me. That's weird. Stop telling me about it. But if I just I like to say, shine your light so bright that others are like, what are you doing? So like, if someone sees you like, oh my gosh, you're glowing. What are you doing? I'm like, oh, just Parasite Cleanse,
Just say it like that.
Parasite Cleanse. No. But really, I think just doing the work, and you are going to activate others. You don't even need to talk about it almost, but obviously that's great. But doing your own work, whether it is physical or emotional or mental, other people are, and they will notice that, and you'll inspire them to do the same. So
I will say I probably had 30 men reach out, asking for more information. So, and that's like men of all religious beliefs and like, whatever you want to, economic classes. So all over the board, I think people are just like interested or intrigued about it.
Okay, and then the last thing that I want to share, I had a lot of questions about coffee enemas. So how often will we be doing coffee enemas after the cleanse? So me personally, there are so many benefits to coffee enemas, and it has been a big part of my healing journey. I actually got rid of my candida with coffee enemas. Every time I did a coffee enema, I passed candida every single time up until like 2 enemas ago, right before the detox or right before my cleanse started. So it's a very powerful tool. There's a lot of proven benefits. And here's a cool thing that I read. I don't know if you guys have heard of Gerson. But coffee enemas have appeared in ancient medical writings dating back to ancient Egypt. So they have proof of it, and have been cited in case reports and articles from the late 1800s. So I know everyone's like, oh, it's trendy. It's not trendy. I think people are just awakening to how powerful our bodies are, and we're really going back to our roots of natural healing instead of turning to the alternatives, which there are great alternatives, but I think being in tune with our body and using these natural tools to heal is so, so powerful.
Well, and even they've also seen like Native Americans also would do like parasite cleanses a few times a year. And so what they would do is they would fast and then take a bunch of herbs that would cause them to diarrhea or vomit. out, the parasites that way. So there's a lot like historically that goes into it. And I mean, I don't know, you look at like an American diet, most of our meat isn't great or clean, right? And so even though it's pumped with like antibiotics, that doesn't necessarily kill off the parasites. That's more to keep the infection away from like the cows or the pigs or the chickens, and so a lot of that meat is just going to have parasites given like their conditions, with all the animals literally like laying on each other. And so, now I think there's probably like grass-fed, pasture-raised like cattle and those things. I mean, they're still going to have like, some parasites as well. So, and cooking doesn't kill them. I mean, it can kill obviously less stronger ones, and same like with our stomach acid, it doesn't kill them either. And so they're very like strong and powerful, and it's estimated that 95% of the population has parasites. So I think there's a lot, it's not just like going back to Native American times is why I'm bringing that up.
Okay, another question is, can your body get dependent on enemas? So from the gerson.org. So if you guys aren't familiar with this, I don't know if I'm saying it right, so sorry if I'm not. But this has been a program going on from the 1800s with cancer patients that do coffee enemas every day to help rid the cancer. But the studies have shown for, 100 plus years that the body does not become dependent on coffee enemas to have a bowel movement. So anyone who's worried about, am I going to be able to go to the bathroom without it? You're totally fine. Coffee enemas are really what started me on this journey of parasite cleansing, because I started seeing stuff come out. But it's awesome. So, okay, the last question is thoughts on colonoscopies. So this is a big topic, and we don't feel like we have necessarily the knowledge to comment on it. So I'm just going to share what Erin shared with me, which she also doesn't have a ton of knowledge on it, but she said there has been plenty of people that have come through their specific program that have done a colonoscopy. So I guess they're given something that clears the bowels, that is supposed to kill off everything so the camera can go in and see clearly. And they have still passed just as many parasites. So that is all I know. I know nothing else outside of that. So yeah. Okay. Can you and Sandra expand on any cramping you experienced during the 10 days? I can share my experience. The only cramping that I had was literally right before I was passing a parasite. So when I was laying on the bed, I would start getting crampy and I'm like, yes, there's one coming. And then literally like 5 seconds later, it would pass. And you can kind of feel it. This is going to be gross. But Sandra and I were texting each other and we're like, it kind of feels like fish.
Feels like a fish popping out of your butt.
Yeah, it just feels like, I know it's weird, I know it's gross, but I really think talking about this stuff is going to save America.
Yeah, I think, just to explain it, so you have the thing up your butt and it's just pumping constantly water into it. So it's gravity fed, so it's not like, going in there. It's not
forceful.
Yeah, and so more or less what you do is, tighten up so nothing comes out. And then when you start to feel like the pressure build up, it tends to lead to like some cramping. And so then you'll like release it. Now I had some of my biggest releases actually like at home. And so mine wasn't even, while doing the colonic. And so I would get that same like level of cramping right before. And so that was like the only time I actually experienced cramping, was as like the releases were about to happen.
Me too. Outside of that, we honestly felt great. No, we're not sending him off to lab. The thing is, Erin is an expert at this. She sees this stuff all day, every day. She's been studying this. Like, I just want it out of my body. I don't feel the need to send them in. Okay, Tara, I have to tell you this. Okay, so Tara just asked about hemorrhoids. I have had hemorrhoids since I've had kids, like big ones, like to the point where I can't sit down.
You're just going to say S on me.
Confirm. I've showed him a couple times because I'm like, look at what the children did. Joking, you guys. But listen to this. 10 days of doing this where, there was a lot of movement down there. Gone. I have not seen a hemorrhoid. I am like shook to my core. I haven't even told you this. But I was laying there doing a coffee enema this morning and I'm like, how do I not have like, how do I not have hemorrhoids? Like, where are they? And I'm not saying they might not come later down the road, but the fact that like they are not there and they haven't been the last 10 days with me doing so much is pretty awesome. Okay, I see a lot of people asking about the kit. So the reason why she's not selling them on a website is because she's just been working locally. She was not expecting me to share this and for it to blow up for her. So she is working on a Shopify site, and it's going to be up in the next week. So be patient. They will be up, and they're gonna offer more than just the 10-day cleanse. They're working on like beginner kits and intermediate. So just be patient. I promise I will share in my stories once it's ready. She just wasn't ready for this. She's just been doing like local, and that's kept her plenty busy. So she has never like, shared outside of where we're at, Southern Utah. So it's coming. I promise I will share the link in my stories. Just keep following along.
Someone asked what coffee you use. You just search on Amazon organic.
I have links.
Coffee, right?
I have links. Also,
links.
I have something I have to share. I have something really exciting. I've been working on this for like 2 months, way before I even decided to do this cleanse. But I am doing 20 days of health and wellness giveaways starting tomorrow. So I'm giving away all my favorite coffee enema supplies. I'm giving away red light therapy. I'm giving away grounding shoes. I'm giving away everything that's helped me in my healing journey. And I'm just doing it to say thank you for this community and for being here and supporting me. So that starts tomorrow. And my first day happens to be coffee enemas, and I'm giving a couple people a full like coffee enema kit. So the coffee enema kit and the like coffee. So you want to make sure you're using coffee that is for enemas, not like the coffee that you drink. No Starbucks in the booty, please. Can people from out of town come do the advance? Totally. You just have to reach out to her. I know because of after this, she's already booked out like 3 months, but if you message her, she's working on getting back to DMs as soon as possible. So giveaway will go live tomorrow. Don't know what time yet, but I'm really excited. I just want to say thank you and give away all these things that have been so impactful for me in my life and my healing journey, and I'm really excited about it. So
what are you doing going forward now?
Oh, what are we doing going forward? I am planning on doing coffee enemas every day for 20 days. And I'm obviously, when I share this, it could be 30 days, it could be 10 days. I'm obviously going to listen to my body and be intuitive in that way, but it's like once the floodgates are open, I want to keep going with that. And there's a lot of benefits to coffee enemas outside of parasites. Like there's so many benefits. And I have a whole reel going live tomorrow that talks all about the benefits and all that stuff. So yes. Okay.
And then I'm figuring out kind of what I want to do going forward. I think for the next week, I'm going to be going more plant-based and giving that a go. And if you know me, that's like pretty crazy to hear. So I have done it before. Like I have gone vegan, but it was like very like dirty vegan. It was just like, I don't know, justifying anything I could that was vegan, like peanut butter bars and stuff like that. So I'm going to try that. I still haven't done a coffee enema, so I'll probably do my first one now after this. Put your hands down. So, and then I think, the biggest thing, one of my biggest takeaways from all of this was, I like pretty much didn't eat anything besides, what I said earlier, an apple. I had a handful of raspberries and like 4 to 8 ounces of fruit juice, and that for the most part, it was like no food, it was just one day where I had some food. So just how much like our bodies don't actually need a crazy amount of food. And so I'm just, kind of just hoping to retrain my brain as seeing food as like energy and fuel versus like, that brain that's always wanting cookies and donuts and ice cream and pizza and all the delicious stuff. So now I'm not like anti-meat like by any means. I think I just want to give plant-based a little go while I kind of finish out this cycle, and then kind of like go from there. But I think the biggest thing is now I wasn't like necessarily working out over the last 5 days because I was fasting. And so I'll just kind of have to see how my body responds to that. So if I feel like I do need protein based on working out, then I'll do that.
Yeah, I think what this has taught us is just to be more in tune with our bodies, and that, a lot of the addictions we have to sugar and all that stuff, like it's parasites. Like, it's literally like those mindsets and those cravings, like a lot of that is parasite driven, like that addiction. So it's been a really cool experience from an emotional, spiritual, mental standpoint, just all of that.
So Jill, you don't necessarily feel like the crawliness, like when they come out, they've like died and kind of like released from like your body. And that's where like the binder helps like flush them out too, like latches onto them as that's coming out. So yeah, you don't necessarily feel like any crawls or anything like we talked about earlier. It just kind of feels like when you're actually doing the colonic that just some like fish are like popping out of your butt. So.
Very, very small fish, not like a big, massive fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're going to end it at that. Feel free to ask questions and we can go back and answer. I think we answered like the majority of questions.
Yeah, I know we definitely missed some at the very beginning. So if we didn't get to your question as we went through the list of questions that we had before. So that's a good question. Like, why mainly fruit? Well, do you want to talk about it?
Well, do you know the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
So fruit hydrates like the body, and the way it like breaks down, a lot of it breaks down early in the process, where like meat obviously is going to be breaking down through like the entire digestive tract, right? Where fruit is going to break down very early, and so it's not feeding the parasites as much because there isn't as much, nutrients. A lot of the nutrients are just absorbed earlier in the tract. And so that's why you do fruit. And it, like I said, it also hydrates the body. Like we weren't doing any like salts, or things like that. And so fruit's like another way you can like obviously hydrate the body.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention this, but in the 10-day cleanse, I was allowed to have soup. So organic, they have some recipes, but she told me at the very beginning, the more you stick to fruit and fasting, the deeper that we're going to get in your body. So in my mind, I was like, I'm already putting in the effort and the time and the energy for this 10-day cleanse. So I'm just going to stick to fruit and just get as deep as we can. And you guys saw on my videos, our videos, that we went very, very deep. Like the white worms that were coming out at the end, that's normal. It usually comes out at the end of everyone's cleanse. That means you're getting like deep. Those are the hardest and the trickiest, and the ones that like hide, they don't build those big old like houses and all this yuck. But they're the hardest ones to get out. So when you start getting the white worms out, you're getting like deep, deep, deep. So there were other options. If you're like, there's no way I can just do fruit, I need soup, you totally can do that. But she told me at the beginning that information, and I was like, I'm all in. I need to go deep. So okay, I think we're going to end it at that. Feel free to ask questions and we will come back to them and answer them. And I have a ton of information also in my highlight. I have 2 highlight bubbles, one parasite and then one that shares the information for the 10-day. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. And don't forget, my 20 days of giveaway starts tomorrow. 20 days of giveaways, all the fun things. And I'm really excited. Okay, bye guys. Wait, I don't know how to end this.
Oh, did you set the X?
I have no idea.
All right, we're going to test this out. There you go.